As my wife and I were driving from one state park to another state park here a few days ago, we stopped at a little cafe in a little quaint town on the way. We sat down at our table. The waiter came over to us. I looked up into his eyes and I was a little bit shocked. His eyes were bright orange. I had never seen a human being with bright orange retinas before, and it took me aback. And I remembered that recently I'd read an article in a newspaper somewhere about a recent fad where people, I think mostly youngsters, are injecting pigment into their eyes to change them into whatever color they want them to be. And I realized that this young man had done this. He had infused his retina with bright orange pigment, and his eyes just glowed with this bright orange, which to me was like an eerie look like you might see on a Halloween thriller or some movie like that. And it took me by surprise. And I didn't react outwardly, but inwardly I was in a bit of a turmoil, asking all kinds of questions like, why would he do this to his eyes? What kind of message is he intending to send to other people? And what's really going on here? Anyway, my mind was getting a bit of a jumble about these bright orange eyes that I had to look at when I talked to our waiter. He left the table for a bit, and I got myself collected there internally by remembering a statement that Jesus Christ made to never judge. Never judge according to the outward appearance. And that is a wonderful rule to apply to all of our relationships with other people. And I decided that I didn't need to figure out all the reasoning behind why he dyed his eyes orange. That wasn't my business. He had his reasons. My business was to see him from a spiritual point of view and not judge him from a material point of view. I really needed to see beyond those orange eyes to the individuality that he possessed as a child of God, to see him from his spiritual point of view. So that's what I started to do in my prayers there from then on, was to look for his spiritual individuality, because it really didn't matter what color his eyes were, right? That's just a material phenomenon, a temporary condition, but it's not his true being as a spiritual child of God. So it was incumbent upon me as a spiritual thinker and as someone who's striving to be a spiritual healer to always see beyond the outward material appearance to the inner spiritual reality. So from that point on, whenever he came over to the table or I witnessed him working with other customers in the restaurant, I looked for his spiritual qualities, and they were easy to find. He was a very nice person. He really was. He was gentle, he was kind, he was thoughtful, he was very conscientious. He was always there asking, do we need anything, and ready to help. He was an excellent waiter. He really was. He was a very fine young man. And as I focused on his spiritual individuality, a feeling of calm took over within. And when he came to the table, I could look into his eyes and ignore the orange. It was hard to ignore, I have to admit. It was hard not to see the orange eyes. But I could look at the orange eyes and think, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color his eyes are. It just doesn't matter. All that matters is who he is as a child of God. Stay focused on his spiritual individuality and take that away with you when you leave this restaurant. And we had a wonderful time. He did an excellent job, and we had a good experience there at the restaurant. But I was grateful just to be reminded of that lesson. Never judge according to the physical appearance. It's irrelevant. It's insignificant. All that matters is one's spiritual individuality. That's true about you, about me, about all of our neighbors. And the world will be just a much more wonderful place if we all would just judge each other according to who we are spiritually and let all the rest go. It doesn't matter if your eyes are orange, pink, blue, or red. It's irrelevant. It's who you are as a child of God that really matters. Judge not according to the appearance. Judge righteous judgment. Judge spiritually.